The summer of 2026 has completely changed Tottenham Hotspur. After back-to-back 17th place finishes in the Premier League, Spurs finally accepted that small tweaks were not going to fix the problem. Instead of sticking to the careful, bargain-hunting transfer strategy they've been known for over the years, the club went all in. With Roberto De Zerbi taking charge and Johan Lange leading recruitment, Tottenham have spent more than £237 million rebuilding the squad from the ground up. Every signing has been made to fit De Zerbi's style of play. The midfield has been transformed with the arrivals of Sandro Tonali and Mateus Fernandes, while the defense has been completely rebuilt through the signings of Van Hecke, Senesi, Andy Robertson, and goalkeeper Martin Dubravka. It's one of the biggest rebuilds the Premier League has seen in years, with the club putting together an entirely new core in the hope of turning themselves back into a serious club again. To understand why Tottenham just completely rebuilt their whole squad, we have to look back and see just how bad things got in the previous season. When Thomas Frank was appointed in June of 2025, there was genuine optimism around the club, but even though Spurs reached the Champions League knockout stages, their Premier League campaign quickly fell apart. A brutal injury crisis ripped through the squad. Players like James Maddison, Kulusevski, and Dominic Solanke all spent long spells on the sidelines, leaving Frank's side short of creativity and goals. His cautious defensive approach only made things worse, with Tottenham struggling to create chances and looking increasingly lifeless going forward. By February of 2026, the pressure had become impossible to ignore. A 2-1 home defeat to Newcastle left Spurs with just one win in their previous 11 matches, and Frank was shown the door. Across all competitions, he won just 13 of his 38 matches, while his Premier League win rate was 26.9%, the worst of any permanent Tottenham manager in the modern Premier League era. Even more worrying was Tottenham's position in the table. They sat just above the relegation zone, only 5 points clear, while conceding 122 league goals across the previous 2 seasons. That's when Roberto De Zerbi arrived. Although he only had 7 league games to save the season, he immediately changed the mood around the club. His attacking front foot style injected some life into a team that had completely lost its identity. Spurs picked up 11 points from those final 7 matches and secured their Premier League status with a dramatic 1-0 win over Everton on the final day. But the relegation scare exposed just how far Tottenham had fallen, so the club responded by completely changing their approach. If there was one signing that really announced Tottenham's new ambition, it was Sandro Tonali. Spurs agreed a deal worth up to £100 million with Newcastle, £92.5 million guaranteed, with another £7.5 million in bonuses. Would love to be Tonali's agent right now. This makes Tonali the first £100 million player in Tottenham's history, and it sends a clear message that this is not the same Spurs anymore. For years, the club built a reputation for looking for bargains. This summer, they decided to spend whatever it took to get the right players. Tonali's journey to North London has been anything but ordinary, to say the least. He first made his name at Brescia, where his passing range and composure made him be compared to Andrea Pirlo, which is honestly not the right comparison. Besides being Italian and having long black hair, they don't actually play that similar. Either way, he was touted as a high prospect, and this led to a move to AC Milan, where he became one of their best players in the 2021-2022 Serie A title-winning team. And then it was then that Newcastle signed him for around £55 million in 2023. His time in England wasn't so straightforward. Soon after arriving, he received a 10-month ban for breaching betting regulations. It was one of the toughest periods of his career, but it helped rebuild him both on and off the pitch. When he returned, he reminded everyone why he was so highly rated. Across 110 appearances, he became one of Newcastle's most important players. He scored 10 goals and helped the club lift the 2025 Carabao Cup. So if he's this good, why did Newcastle let him go? Well, it was due to financial reasons. After missing out on Europe and facing pressure from the Premier League's profit and sustainability rules, Newcastle reluctantly became open to a sale. Tottenham moved quickly, and Roberto De Zerbi played a huge role in making it happen. You know, that Italian mafia connection. Reportedly, De Zerbi spent more than 2 hours personally explaining his vision, convincing Tonali to become the centerpiece of Spurs' rebuild, but he was moving like Tony Soprano. And tactically, it's easy to see why De Zerbi wanted him so badly. Tonali is the complete modern midfielder. He can sit in front of the defense, break up attacks, dictate the tempo, or drive the team forward with the ball. Last season, he averaged almost 17 forward passes and more than 13 passes into the final third every 90 minutes, while completing nearly 85% of his passes from open play. Those numbers highlight exactly what Spurs have been missing: a midfielder who actually looks to move the team forward. If Sandro Tonali is the new engine of Tottenham's midfield, then Mateus Fernandes is the creative spark. Just 2 days before completing the Tonali deal, Spurs broke their transfer record by signing the Portuguese international from West Ham for £85 million. It wasn't an easy deal to pull off either. Manchester United, Real Madrid, and Paris Saint-Germain all wanted Fernandes, but the 21-year-old chose Tottenham after Roberto De Zerbi personally laid out his vision for the club and the role he wanted him to play. I mean, De Zerbi might be the best negotiator of all time. Fernandes' rise has been incredibly quick. He came through Sporting's famous academy before making his senior debut in 2022. Ironically, he later made his Champions League debut against Tottenham. After a successful loan spell at Estoril, he moved to Southampton in 2024, where he quickly proved he could handle the Premier League. Despite Southampton struggling, he was named the club's player of the season and ranked among the league leaders for duels won. West Ham snapped him up the following summer, and his reputation only continued to grow. He became one of their most consistent performers, finishing among the Premier League's best tacklers, while also earning his first senior cap for Portugal in 2026. Now, Tottenham believe they have signed one of the brightest young midfielders in Europe. De Zerbi sees Fernandes as his version of someone like Alexis McAllister, a midfielder who can do a little bit of everything. He has the vision to unlock defenses, the energy to press relentlessly, and the technical ability to escape pressure in tight spaces. Last season, he completed nearly 88% of his passes from open play, while averaging more than 12 forward passes and 10 passes into the final third every 90 minutes. Fernandes loves receiving the ball with an opponent right behind him. Instead of playing the safe option, he'll shield it, spin away from his marker, and immediately look to break the lines with either a dribble or a vertical pass. Perhaps the most exciting part of him is that he's produced those numbers while playing in a defensive West Ham team that eventually got relegated. Under De Zerbi's possession-heavy attack-minded system, he'll have far more freedom to express himself. Now, not only did the midfield need reinforcements, so did the defense. That's why Spurs signed Van Hecke. His journey to the Premier League is anything but typical. He didn't come through Ajax, PSV, or Feyenoord. Instead, he spent his teenage years playing amateur football before earning a move to NAC Breda. Brighton's recruitment team spotted his potential in 2020 and signed him before sending him on loan to Heerenveen and Blackburn Rovers. It was at Blackburn where people really began to notice his ability on the ball. Instead of just simply clearing danger, Van Hecke regularly stepped forward and fired these long, accurate passes through the opposition lines to start attacks. When he returned to Brighton, De Zerbi was managing the team, so Van Hecke became one of his most trusted players, eventually breaking up the long-established partnership of Lewis Dunk and Adam Webster. His performances earned him a Netherlands debut in 2024, and he's continued to establish himself as one of Europe's most exciting ball-playing defenders. That's exactly why Tottenham wanted him. De Zerbi's system asks center backs to do far more than just defending. They have to stay calm under pressure with the ball, invite opponents forward, and then play through them with confidence. Van Hecke already knows every detail of the system. Statistically, he fits the role perfectly. Last season, he ranked in the 98th percentile among European center backs for progressive carries, regularly driving out of defense with the ball instead of simply passing sideways. His performances at the 2026 World Cup also showed those qualities just on the biggest stage. Against Morocco, he completed 130 of his 134 passes, while recording a tournament-high 145 touches, constantly acting as the main outlet in possession despite the Netherlands' difficult evening. Signing Van Hecke solved one half of Tottenham's defensive issues. The other half was finding him the right partner. That's where Marco Senesi comes in. Spurs pulled off one of the smartest deals of the summer by signing the Argentine international on a free transfer after his contract with Bournemouth expired. Despite receiving interest from clubs like Real Madrid, Chelsea, United, and Barca, Senesi chose Tottenham after being sold once again on Roberto De Zerbi's vision for the project. I'm telling you, this guy must have been moving like the Godfather in these meetings. Senesi's journey started back in Argentina with San Lorenzo, before earning a move to Feyenoord in 2019. In the Netherlands, he developed into one of the Eredivisie's best defenders, helping Feyenoord reach the Europa Conference League final in 2022. Bournemouth brought him to the Premier League that summer, and over the next 4 seasons, he became one of the league's most reliable center backs. He made 128 appearances, helped the club qualify for Europe for the first time in its history, and establish himself as one of the best ball-playing defenders out there. That's exactly why De Zerbi wanted him. As a naturally left-footed center back, Senesi gives Tottenham something they've lacked for years: balance. He isn't a defender who simply hoofs the ball out or plays these safe passes. He's always looking to get forward and lead the next attack. Last season, no outfield player in the Premier League completed more accurate long passes than Senesi, and no center back played more successful through ball. Whether it's switching play to the opposite flank or splitting an entire defensive line with one pass, he's constantly looking to turn defense into attack. That's a perfect fit for De Zerbi's football. Defensively, he brings plenty of aggression too. He ranked among the Premier League's leaders for interceptions, blocks, and clearances last season. So he isn't just some guy who's elegant on the ball. He's willing to step out, win duels, and defend aggressively high up the pitch. Alongside Van Hecke, Tottenham now have a partnership that complements each other perfectly. Now, not every important signing has to be a big one that costs £100 million or £85 million. Sometimes experience is just as valuable as a big name. And that's exactly why Tottenham signed Andy Robertson. After his contract with Liverpool expired, Spurs signed the Scotland captain on a free transfer, ending a move they had actually tried to complete 6 months earlier. Back in January of 2026, Tottenham pushed hard to sign Robertson, but Liverpool couldn't let him leave after failing to bring Tsimikas back from his loan spell at Roma. This time, there was nothing standing in the way. At 32 years old, Robertson isn't the relentless runner he was in his prime. Injuries and the arrival of Milos Kerkez meant he only started 11 Premier League matches during his final season at Liverpool. But Tottenham are not signing this guy to play 60 games. They're signing him because he still has plenty to offer. Under Roberto De Zerbi, Robertson will compete with Destiny Udogie for the left back spot, giving Spurs two very different options. His crossing, overlapping runs, and experience provide another tactical weapon whenever De Zerbi wants a more traditional attacking fullback. And perhaps even more importantly, Robertson brings leadership. After 2 disastrous seasons, Tottenham needed players who know what it takes to win. If you enjoyed this video, I'm sure you will love this one too. Check it out right here.